Over the last few years, I've cycled across the Australian outback and sailed across the Indian Ocean. And on both trips, I experienced this deep sense of isolation and loneliness that I found really challenging. But I also found that I emerged from these trips feeling more refreshed and more confident about who I was. And so in January of this year, I decided I wanted to recapture some of that solitude and isolation. I cancelled my work for 2 months, planning to return in mid-March. I booked tickets to the Norwegian Arctic and I headed off. Well, be careful what you wish for, because I'm still here with this solitude and isolation. This is the story of my ongoing and unusual quarantine, stranded in Norway. So this is my island. It's 2 kilometers long and about 200 meters wide. There's around about 280 other islands in the archipelago. No one can agree exactly how many, because most of them are just bare lumps of rock that disappear altogether at high tide. From above, they look like a pod of whales just breaking the surface. In the distance, I can see the jagged mountains of the mainland. I can see the city lights twinkling at night. But these are so firmly out of reach that they just exacerbate the lonely situation here. I'm working at a hotel called the Arctic Hideaway, but I'm actually the only member of staff, and because of coronavirus, there's no guests. So somehow I've ended up with a £2,000 a night hotel all to myself. It's quite a bizarre situation. I've got 5 neighbours who also live on the island. Let me introduce you to them. There's Ara, the artist. He's dedicated his life to 3 things: art, reading, and music. And he speaks in this wonderfully poetic way. He described me, upon hearing about my nomadic lifestyle, as a honeybee that floats from flower to flower, always searching for the sweetest nectar. He described his divorce as a storm that swept across the island and washed his wife and children out to sea. I meet up with him most days for coffee, and he's helping teach me some art.